This is Shred, and if there's one thing I know, it's that soloing is a sacred rite amongst axe grinders. The ability to melt faces with searing licks is a dark art passed down from the devil himself. The question is, which leads stand out above the rest? Who can wield their axe on level 666? In this video, I'll count down my top 5 guitar solos of all time. If you disagree with my list, I'm sorry, but we can't be friends. I banish you to the Shadow Realms. Become a music theory master in my free Discord community below. All my courses tabs and of course direct access to me. You can hang out with me and my composer friends and level up your songwriting skills with the F word, fun. Now listen, here's the deal. Determining the best guitar solo is a subjective endeavor to some extent. That being said, there are a few objective metrics that I use. It's like taste, tone, and technique are my guiding principles when evaluating the true quality of a shredlord. Needless to say, Kerry King will not be on my list. Van Halen's Eruption secures my number 5 spot. Released in 1978, this was a quantum leap in guitar evolution that shocked the world. From that fateful day forward, it was mandatory for every guitarist to be able to get both paws on the fretboard and tap that axe. But the truth is, King Halen knew flashy playing wasn't enough. That's the technique part I was talking about. So we outlined a beautiful chord progression in the main theme. Check this out. I didn't plan this, but you're going to see over and over again in this video that this progression is used. So Van Halen has a C sharp minor chord moving to an A over C sharp harmony. This seems to be the magical progression for guitar solos. So we have a 3-note figure here, 1, 2, 3, that just goes over and over again. And that's outlining a C sharp minor chord. You have G sharp, C sharp, and E. And that moves to this A over C sharp by just taking your index finger up a half step. And this is amazing. Check this out. Moves it up a whole step, the left hand, to get a D sharp diminished chord. This is like a very classical sound. I think Bach would be proud. Moves the right hand up, and then we get an E major triad. And here's my favorite part of the whole lick, because we get contrary motion. The right hand moves up, and the left hand moves down. Did you catch that? So it's like this. You get this motion. That is really pro stuff right there. And then we got a little leading into the D major, and then a lead into the E major. When I hear that beautiful line, I think, what would Bach do? WWBD. Now the 4th greatest solo on my list is Metallica's 2. I mean, 1. This offering comes from Metallica's And Justice for All album, released in 1988. Now, as it turns out, Kirk Hammett stole Eddie's tapping lick, scorching our souls with a blistering E minor arpeggio. And you can tell that Kirk Hammett obviously learned the Eruption solo. Then he just moved it around. He's playing that first part of Eruption in different pitch levels. So here you can see what I mean when I say Kirk stole the tapping idea from Eddie Van Halen. This is literally just the exact same idea, but transposed to the key of E minor instead of C sharp minor. So there's the 5th, the root, and the 3rd. Then he moves that 5th on the 19th fret up to the 20th fret, which is that flat 6. The exact same harmonic movement as what Van Halen did in Eruption. Great art is often stolen. You know, we borrow concepts from our influences and then we, turn them into our own thing. The chord progression that Kirk is using that I've highlighted right here, the E minor to that C over E. And you're going to see throughout this lesson, again, I didn't plan this, but I just noticed that all of these solos use this chord progression, which is a really cool sound. Judas Priest's Painkiller grabs the number 3 position. Released in 1990, this track is about an alien, get this, who travels to Earth to save mankind. His name's the Painkiller. Holy shit, this solo is crazy. I couldn't even believe this was guitar the first time I heard it. Like a piercing siren from the underworld, Glenn Tipton bursts on the scene with a terrifying sweep arpeggio in the key of F sharp minor, which of course we all know has 3 sharps. So this whole thing is kind of a mess, to be honest. I think, what happened was Glenn maybe stole the idea of sweeping from Yngwie Malmsteen. And it sounds like there's just a lot going on, but really the core of the idea is he's just outlining one chord in different inversions. Before you even get lost in that tab, just think about the principle at play, which is to take an F sharp minor chord like that, and then you play it in inversions. So next you could try this one here, F sharp minor over A, and then we move to F sharp minor over C sharp, and then you're back to the root up an octave. So an inversion is just when you reorder the notes of a triad. Let's say you have F sharp, A, and C sharp, which is how you spell an F sharp minor. To do an inversion, you just put a note other than the root in the bass. So the next note in that F sharp minor is A, so you got A, C sharp, F sharp would be the first inversion. And the second inversion is when you take the 5th and put that in the bass, C sharp, F sharp, and A. Now call me crazy, but Randy Rhoads' Crazy Train grabs my number 2 slot. Slot. This solo made an appearance on the Blizzard of Oz record released in 1981. Thank the devil that St. Rhodes was able to record this before perishing in a plane crash the next year. Now here's Randy Rhoads' tapping lick, this famous tapping lick. And what you'll notice is, again, it's just that eruption figure, except with one little difference here. Instead of this pattern, which would be 5th, root, 3rd, Rhoads goes 5th, 3rd, root. So he makes the order a little bit different. It's just descending now. But there it is, that flat 6 going from the 5th and then up a half step to that flat 6 scale degree, which references the main riff very nicely too. That's that flat 6 degree in the main riff. Here's the Randy Rhoads chord progression that he stole from Van Halen, like everybody on this list stole from Van Halen. And so you got F sharp minor, moving to the D over F sharp chord, which is a really cool sound. You could try that in different inversions if you wanted. First inversion, that's cool. Let's see how it sounds in second inversion. These are all cool options. We've arrived at the greatest guitar solo of all time. Of course, I'm talking about Cardi B's WAP. Tornado of Souls by Metallica. Megadeth. Come on, Shred! Dave Mustaine was hoping Marty could help win the fight against Metallica. He's got all 3, the taste, the tone, and the technique. So here is the famous Tornado of Souls fast lick. And surprise, surprise, what we see again in all 5 of these examples is a minor triad, which is this right here. That's a B minor triad, moving to flat 6 scale degree emphasis. So here we have the B minor triad descending, and then later on you're going to see him play with that flat 6 scale degree right there. So here you can see the chord progression, B minor, then the G over B, classic, and then that moves to an E, which is really cool. It gives it a Dorian sound. And then F sharp over A sharp here is what I did, and that moves to an A, and then back to B minor. And in Marty's fast lick, you can really hear this interesting. Now, which solo on my list was your favorite? Curious, do you agree with this list, or do you have your own you'd like to post? Join my free Discord community below to write your own solos and riffs. Until next time, shred till you're dead.